talk about these charms. Maybe you'll be passing through any of them. Who knows? I don't know. Some of these charms, they work like they perform the same thing as people who are passing through intergenerational problem or a marine spirit. If you are having a marine issue in your family, or you are passing through an intergenerational problem, whatever you are passing through is almost the same thing as charms. But most of the times, these charms are meant to delete someone. But the intergenerational problem and the marine issue may not delete you. There is always a reason for people passing through that. But for these charms, most of the times people do it to remove you from the surface of the earth. Sometimes they do it to punish you, to punish your people. So tonight we are going to be looking at these charms in case you are passing through any of them. Now, let's talk about setback in life. Someone who has been progressing and all of a sudden you crash and then you start afresh. And then after some time you crash again, you start afresh. If you check yourself spiritually and you come to notice that you don't have an intergenerational problem, and also you are not passing through a marine issue, but you are having setback and it's repeating every now and then, you are always starting from the scratch, from square zero. Some of the times it is as a result of charm. And these charms, I will tell you how people do it. If you are passing through setbacks, the wicked one who is against you will mold an image and invoke your spirit into that image. When they invoke your spirit into the image, the next thing they are supposed to do is to conjure some incantations. They can make an incantations. And then they will get a chain, the chain which you use to chain like chairs and tables. And they will chain that chair, they will chain your leg, and then tie that your leg to either a tree or to a rock or to a big stone or to anything that you cannot free yourself from. And the reason why they do this is, and they are going to give that chain a long space. So whenever you are moving in life and you are progressing, it means you haven't gotten to the end of that chain. The moment you get to the end of that chain will draw you back, and that is crashing. When the chain draws you back, you will crash, and then you will start afresh. And this thing can last for a lifetime. If you do not find solution to this problem, it can last for a lifetime. That is why you can see somebody who is wealthy, a man who is so wealthy, and all of a sudden, maybe later in his later stage of life, you see the man begging. For him to eat, he will beg. For him to go out, he will ask for transport fare. But this was once a very wealthy man. And when you keep on experiencing these setbacks without finding solution to the problem, at a point you will resign to your fate. You will no longer want to struggle, because struggling doesn't make any sense anymore. After struggling and getting all those things, you will still crash again and start from square zero. And that is their major aim, for you not to attain your heights in life, for you not to become that which God has destined you to become. So if you are experiencing this repeatedly, not that you just experience setback once in your life, that one is a normal occurrence, maybe as a result of mismanagement on your own side. But when you are experiencing it repeatedly, it happens every now and then, you succeed, and at the peak of that success, you crash. Or maybe you are about to get to that peak. You are about to sign a contract. You are about to get something big. And a day or 2 days to that, which you are about to get that thing, something will happen. It's either you have an accident, or you fell seriously sick that you cannot surface, or the person who is supposed to give that to you will fall sick or can even die. And when that person dies, everything crashes. And then you start afresh again. That charm is that your image has been molded somewhere, your spirit has been invoked into that image, and has been tied by a chain and tied to a tree. And how wicked people are. When people inflict you with charms, gone are the days when people will inflict you with charms and then that charm will start reacting immediately. It doesn't react immediately this time around. The charms will give you time, enough time, so that you will keep on thinking that is a normal occurrence. And then these years will be passing by and you keep on repeating, experiencing all these things. And how they do it is that no matter where you go, if you like, you can pray from Monday to Sunday for God to reveal the person. How they do it is that after performing these charms, they cover it. They cover it with black clothes or a black mask. If it's the person covers himself, his face or her face spiritually with a black mask. That you can go to a powerful man of God. And the man of God will tell you that someone is actually behind what you are passing through. But the man of God will not be able to tell you who in particular. Yes, he's seeing someone, but he can't see who that person is. It is because the person covered his face or her face with a black cloth spiritually. Now, what you are supposed to do is, assuming you are passing through this, and you decide to go and seek for solution to the problem, and they tell you that somebody is behind it, I will want you to insist that you know the person behind it. It's either whoever that is handling that, if it's a native doctor, the native doctors knows how to do it. They know how to perform it in their own way, and they can tell you who that person is. But as Christians, whenever you pray, because this is what I do, whenever I pray, assuming God revealed something to me and showed somebody to me, and then I notice that the person covered his face or her face with a black cloth, I will insist that that cloth be removed so that I will know who that person is. For me not to be pointing accusing fingers at innocent people. You must insist, and you have to insist through prayers. And that prayer is not just a minute prayer, it's not just a day's prayer, it's not just a week's prayer. You have to be serious with that prayer. When you are serious with it, consistently, asking God to remove the mask, God will remove it. These days, when people practice that rubbish, that charm, they will cover the charm. Most of the times, even when you go, the people, the man of God or whoever will tell you that you are not under the influence of diabolical powers. They will tell you that there is nothing going on, there is nothing wrong with you, that you are okay, just live your normal life. Meanwhile, that charm has already been covered for you not to see that the charm is actually controlling your life. But you know what you are passing through. You know what you are seeing in your life. It is just that the person who is supposed to render that help has been prevented from seeing it the way it is. So as a Christian, I am telling you what you are supposed to do as a Christian, because I know that the native doctors have their own way of revealing things, of knowing what is actually wrong. But as Christians, what I do is I will go into prayer, a very serious prayer. And that prayer has to be midnight prayer. It has to be midnight prayer. And this time around, it's not something like someone can ask me, for how long will I say the prayer? Until you get that result. When you are praying with your whole heart, when you mean your prayers, and you are praying consistently, it won't take long for God to remove that mask, for you to see the person and know the person. And the moment you know that person, automatically, that charm will start losing its potency in your life. It is now left for you to break it entirely and set yourself free. Now, there are other charms that people can inflict upon somebody, and this time around, you won't even know if there is anything wrong. You will see a grown-up man. The man will just wake up one morning all of a sudden and decides to maybe travel out of the country in search of greener pastures. Of course, it's normal. Everybody does that. Everybody travels out of the country in search of greener pastures. But then, this type of people that I'm talking about, when you travel, you will no longer come back. You will never come back. Majority of them don't even call home to know what is actually going on at home. And even if they are being called, some of them will not pick up the calls. And even if they pick up the calls, whatever you are telling them makes no meaning to them. And these people can stay outside the country for 10 years, for 20 years, for 30 years, for 40 years without visiting home. But they are alive and they are well and they are healthy. And you think all is well? All is not well. If you have someone who is like this, please, I want you to know that that person has been sent on exile. That is the kind of charm that people do inflict on others. They will send you on an exile, away from your home. And the people that they do send on exile, I want you to check very well. These are people, most of them are people who are spiritually gifted. They have checked your star. You know, all these diabolical people, when you give birth to baby, that is why we have to be very careful. Because whatever they do to people, most of the times are being done when someone is born. When you give birth to your child, be very careful with the people that comes to visit, to congratulate you. Be very careful. These are the times when all this nonsense can be done to your child without you knowing it. Whenever they come to see your child to congratulate you, with that their diabolical powers, they can see the child's star. They will know if that child is going to be great in future or not. And if that child happens to be a great person, the next thing they will do is to perform that charm immediately. That when this child gets to this certain age, this child is going to travel out of the country. The reason why they do this is because they have seen your star. You are going to be great in life. It's either that you are too powerful, that they cannot withstand you when that time comes, or that your family is so wealthy and they know that at a particular point in time, you are going to occupy everything and they don't want you to occupy it because they have eyes in all those properties. They want to occupy everything. And so because they cannot battle with you, because you are great, as by that time you are going to be greater than anybody, they will send you on an exile. And then when it gets to that stage, the person will decide to travel out willingly. And of course, everybody will support the person in search of greener pastures. And then you will travel out without coming back any longer. Even if your father's house is being destroyed, it doesn't concern you. Even if the house is deteriorating, it doesn't concern you. No matter what is happening, it doesn't even if somebody dies, it still doesn't concern you. Because you are not doing it with your senses. You are actually on exile. And that is how they have done it. Now, if you have ever stayed long wherever you are, and you have come to notice that you have stayed long, far away from home, and you have never visited home, the moment you realize this, that charm has lost its potency. All you need now is a little push. And that little push is for you to run around and see how you can come back home. Because if the charm doesn't lose its potency, you will never think of home. At all, you will never think of home. And you won't care about what is actually happening at home. But the moment you realize that you have stayed for long outside your home, the charm has lost its potency. Because what is written is written. If God has written that you will attain that height at a particular time, when that time comes, the charm must lose its potency. Now, what is left for you to do is to just a little push for you to run around and see how you can come home. Because when people are passing through this, one of the things they equally pass through is when it's time for you to come back home, you will not see the money. You will not see money for your flight ticket, for your transport fare, for you to arrange yourself before coming back home. You will not see that money. So that little push I am talking about now is for you to ask for help. Because of that star in you, because of that greatness in you, when you ask for help from people, they will render that help to you so that you will be able to come back home. And if you ever come back home and step your feet into your father's compound, everything has been destroyed. Nothing will ever work again, no matter how powerful that charm is. Because the reason for that charm is for you not to get back home. But whenever you realize that you have stayed for long outside, and then you decide to run around to get money, and you finally arrived home, the moment you get home, the charm has already been destroyed. It will no longer have effect on you. And more especially for people who are spiritually called, they normally pass through this. Because those diabolical people will know that one day you are going to rise to stop all their evil activities. And then they will send you on an exile at an early stage in life. And if you ever realize that you have been far away from home for a long time and you come back, it is time for you to act. Because the moment you come back home, every power that is supposed to work with you, every spirit that is supposed to work with you will come before you. They will all be there before you. They will be there at your beck and call. That whatsoever you say, they will carry it out. Because they do not need anybody's command. It is actually your command that they have been waiting for. And the moment you get back home, everything kicks off. So if you have any of your person who is outside for a very long time and has never, ever tried to come back home, I want you to ask questions about that person. Because I know most of the times we that are here at home, we always say that they have abandoned us, they do not care about us, they are living a flamboyant lifestyle over there while we are here suffering. They do not want to help us. Meanwhile, they don't actually remember who you are. They know you, yes, you are the sibling, you are the brother, you are the sister, you are the mom, you are the dad. But there is no connection anymore spiritually. And that is why they don't really know what they are doing. So I want you to ask questions about that your person. That is, if you check and it is not an intergenerational problem and it is not a thing of the marine spirits, then I want you to check. That person must have been sent on exile by the wicked people. There is always a reason for them to send you on an exile. Either that you become too powerful in life, or you become so great in life, or you become so wealthy in life, or they want to accumulate everything that your family has gathered. They want to take over everything, your lands, your properties, but they cannot do it while you are at home, and then they will send you on an exile. So please ask questions to know what is actually going on. Because I'm going to tell us how this charm works and how that's when someone who is called spiritually, how it works. If you are under the influence of diabolical powers that someone has actually sent you on an exile, if care is not taken, you will never come back home at all for the rest of your life. A lot of people are being brought back home in coffin. Yes, in their old age, they'll be brought back home. I'm not saying that anybody who dies outside the country is as a result of this issue. No, I am talking about this particular charm right now. So many of them will never ever come back home because they do not know what is actually going on. But if you are spiritually called and then someone decides to send you on an exile, or you decided to send yourself on an exile, you traveled because you do not want to answer your call. Or maybe you are not aware that you are being called, but you traveled and you don't want to have anything to do with home. And then you have stayed outside for a very long time. When the time is right for you to answer your call, you will start a charm and someone who is called. The charm, its mission is just to remove you, to send you away. You may be progressing wherever you are, living your life the way you want it wherever you are. The most important thing is that you are not coming back home. But if you are spiritually called and you are on an exile, or you sent yourself on an exile because you don't want to have anything to do at home, when the time is right for you to answer that call, for you to make use of your powers, you will start experiencing a lot of things greater than you. You may think you are about to die, but you will never die. And nobody, no man, no woman, no spirit can take away your life. Because you are being protected. You are under a very powerful protection. Because God actually wants you to answer your call. And so nothing No matter how powerful that thing is, nothing will ever take away your life. But you'll be experiencing a lot of weird things that you cannot explain. It can even get to a point that you will start seeing spirits. Yes, you start seeing so many things. And some of them, if care is not taken, they will go mad. It is just only madness. If you bring the person back home, automatically the madness will stop. Because the reason why the person actually went mad is for that person to be brought home, and that is how it's being done. The moment you get back home, the madness will stop, and then you will realize what is actually going on. That is the difference between someone who has a spiritual power, someone who is being called, but you haven't answered your call, and you are outside the country, and you do not want to come back home to answer that call. You've decided to set yourself on an exile. When the time is right, the spirits that are supposed to work with you will bundle you back home. And I will advise you, if you are passing through this thing that I'm just teaching now, if you are passing through it, I will advise you to make up your mind, come back home on your own. A lot of them are so scared that when they come back, they've been away for too long. When they come back, people will harm them. People will do this to them. People will hurt them. People will kill them. If you are spiritually powerful, if you are spiritually called, no man born of a woman can lay a finger on you. Nothing created under this earth can take away your life. No matter how powerful that thing is, you are highly protected. The protection surrounding you is so great that nothing can take away your life until you accomplish that your mission. For whatever reason that God has called you, you must do it. And as you are doing it, nothing will ever happen to you. Even before you do it, nothing will ever happen to you until you are done with that assignment. And it is only God that knows when you will be through with that assignment. So I want to differentiate between someone who was sent on an exile through chance and someone who ran away from home or who decided to stay away from home despite being called spiritually. So that's the difference. Now, there's another charm that people do. Women in particular are the ones guilty of this. Women, married women, single girls, they are actually the ones guilty of this. And they do this to men. That is why if you're a married man, please, my advice is take good care of your wife. Love your wife from the bottom of your heart. Don't be stupid, don't be foolish, but love your wife. Treat her well. When you treat her well, when you treat her like a queen, she will never think of such evil for you. She will never do such to you. She will never do anything to harm you. Women are just like little children. All they need is just a little love, and they will open up to you. And you will see them the way they are, nothing else. But the moment you start showing them how powerful you are as a man, you start showing them that you are the boss, you start bossing them around, you start treating them like a nobody in your life. Meanwhile, that woman is your wife or that woman is your girlfriend who has sacrificed a lot for you. You are actually pushing them into the lion's den. And when they get to that lion's den, you will not like the outcome of it. Now, this charm that I'm talking about is whenever you hear anybody say that they will place you on a stool, it is actually a charm. I know people do use it these days to make jokes, to make fun. It is actually a charm. A lot of men are sitting on a stool, and when you are sitting on a stool, you will never stand up in your life. You will never rise up in your life. You won't be able to walk. You won't be able to do anything. You will remain on that stool. This is a particular type of charm. And how do they do it? Most of the times, that stool will be carved, either by a carpenter. A carpenter will make that stool. I want to tell you the practical aspect of it. And some of these stools, men, I want you to open your eyes. Some of these stools are actually in your homes. But you will think that it is the kitchen stool or a stool that is, in the house doing nothing. But that stool has been carved for you, and your image, your spirit has been invoked into that stool. You are actually sitting on that stool. You are now answerable to that woman, to that wife, to that girlfriend, that they can turn you however they want. They can use you the way they like. They can turn you into their houseboys, into their servants, into their slaves. When you are treating a woman right, you will never experience this. You can only experience this the moment you start treating a woman wrong. The moment you make a woman start thinking if she's actually a woman. The moment you make her to see herself as a nobody. The moment you start comparing her with other women outside, that is when you will experience this. It is evil, it is bad, but it can only be experienced the moment you start treating them bad. That is why it is advisable. If you truly love that woman as your wife, if you truly love that woman as your girlfriend, treat her right. Even that girl who is your girlfriend, maybe at one point in time you no longer want the friendship. Before you break up with her, please notify her. Tell her. The only thing that will happen to her is that she will cry. But notify her ahead of time, please. If it's possible for you to give her a parting gift, do it. If she collects that gift, there is nothing she will do to you diabolically that will work, because you've actually paid your price and she accepted that price. But when you just decide to cheat on her and dump her and go out to marry another person, whatever she do to you will work. And that is why it's advisable for men, please, know the women you have sex with. Because all these things will work the moment you start having sex with a woman. Having sex is spiritual. But in our generation, we see it as fun. It's nothing. You are having fun with this woman. But it is spiritual. You are actually exchanging your spirits, your inner being. And when you exchange it, and you decide to treat the person bad, and the person decides to harm you spiritually, everything that she does will work. Know the woman you are having sex with. Your wife can even have pity on you a little bit, but that girl will never have pity on you because she has nothing to lose. You are actually going to be the one to lose. So this particular charm that will be placed on a stool, you may be seeing that stool in your house. Please, I'm not saying you should suspect your wives or your girlfriends. Maybe somebody, they bought stool or they decided to cut stool and then you started suspecting them. Please, I'm not saying it, but I'm telling you the fact that it happens. You know, men are not too observant in such things because they do not have that time. The only time they have is to go out and make money and come back. It is the woman that stays at home that can actually tell what is happening at home. And most of the times, these two are not visible. It is just done spiritually. Your spirit will be invoked and placed on that stool. You will never get up. You won't even have the physical strength to do what your fellow men are doing, not to talk of having that spiritual energy. You will just remain like a little child at the beck and call of that woman. Whenever she needs you, she will call you. If she doesn't want you, she will push you away. So my advice in this is for men to be careful. Just be careful so that you don't fall into this temptation. Yes, every charm has an expiry date. It will still expire. If you have people who noticed that you are being controlled diabolically, because you that is under the influence of that diabolical power will be so difficult to notice that you are being controlled spiritually. It is those who know you too well, those who are around you, that can be suspecting that something is actually wrong with you. So it is the duty of these people around you to seek for solution to that problem. Because you do not know where you are, you don't know what is happening to you, you don't know what is wrong. So it is the duty of those around you to seek for solution to that problem, to set you free from that stool. Once you are set free from that stool, there is no other thing that can happen to you. Now I want to tell us about this charm. A lot of us have experienced this charm. I have equally experienced it in my life, and so many of us have experienced it, and it comes in form of sickness. Every now and then you are suffering from malaria, but before that malaria comes, at one day or at one point in time, it looks as if someone is fanning you. You start feeling a cool breeze either on your hands or on your leg, because it must be at a particular part of your body, not like someone who is under air condition or you're under a ceiling fan or a standing fan. No. It will look as if someone opened the refrigerator and the coldness from the refrigerator is actually going to your legs, and you start feeling that coldness on your legs or on your hands. And before you know it, in 2 days' time, in 3 days' time, you fall sick. You go to hospital, they say that it's malaria. They will treat you malaria. After some time, you recover. The next time it will repeat itself again. You will feel that breeze. And then after some time, you fall sick. So many people have actually called me to tell me about this. And I have equally experienced it myself. You will always feel that breeze. And the moment you feel it, if you are conversant with this, the moment you feel that breeze, you know that the next thing coming up is sickness. And then you get yourself ready, because you must surely fall sick. Now, the aim of this charm is actually to remove you. That is the aim of this charm. But they do not want to remove you immediately, because once they remove you immediately, people will ask questions. People will go in search of what is actually wrong, what actually happened. And so they do it this way, that you keep on falling sick. Whenever you go to hospital, it's either it's malaria or it's typhoid fever. Every now and then, or it's infection. You are treating infection every month. Meanwhile, you are living in a well-conducive environment, so neat. But you are treating infection every now and then. You are treating malaria every month or twice in a month. Meanwhile, you have never experienced mosquito bite in a very long time, but you are always treating malaria. You are always treating typhoid fever. And then you are experiencing this thing. And some of us, from the complaints that I have received, some of us, there are times when they will come out like in the morning or in the afternoon, and when they look at the sky, it will look as if they are seeing dews. It looks as if you are seeing something in the sky, like twinkle stars, or you are seeing dews. And in a day or 2 days' time, you fall sick. That is actually charm. Whenever you start feeling that breeze, know that your spirit, your image, is kept somewhere under the watchful eyes of a deity. And whenever whoever is in charge of that thing, whoever is actually worshiping that deity, when they are monitoring you, the moment they start fanning that your image, that is when you actually started feeling that coldness. And the moment they start fanning it, that is when the sickness is coming. The same thing with you, seeing the dews and the twinkle stars every now and then, and you think that actually coming from heaven. It's not coming from heaven. That is charm. Because that thing you are seeing, I want you to ask the next person closer to you if he or she is seeing the same thing. They will tell you that they are not seeing anything. It is only your eyes that is meant to see that. Because you are under the watchful eyes of a deity whose mission it is to remove you entirely. But they are going to do it gradually. Because as you get sick, every now and then, you keep on visiting the hospital. They'll keep on treating you. You keep on taking so many drugs, so many injections. And all these drugs and injections will start reacting again in your system. And before you know it, the organs will start failing. And once the person is gone, of course, there is always a doctor's report that your organ failed, that your kidney failed, your liver failed, this failed, and that resulted into the person's death. But it's actually a charm that has been inflicted upon you that caused that thing. If you are passing through this, that feeling of breeze or seeing something every now and then which only your eyes can see, and every now and then you are falling sick, you are treating malaria every now and then. I'm not saying that when you fall sick, you don't have to go to hospital, because I do go to hospital. I believe in going to the hospital to seek for the treatment. But when you keep on going to hospital for one particular problem, it is enough for you to ask questions to know the origin of that problem, because it cannot be that problem. But this chance, whenever they inflict it upon people, they will make it in such a way that when you go to hospital, there must be something the doctors will see. It is a must. The doctors will see something, and then they will be treating that thing. Meanwhile, it is not that thing that is actually happening to you. It is something else. So when you start experiencing this, it can only be handled through prayers. It's not spiritual exercise this time around. It is through prayers. It's either you meet people who can pray for you. You meet people who are gifted with the gift of healing to touch you and lay their hands on you. and with your faith together with their prayers, you will be made well. You will be okay. Now, there is another charm that I want to tell us about. I want to talk to our young girls. They are actually the ones who are experiencing this. And it's always as a result of their behavior. If you are a young girl who is dating a married man, please, I want you to be careful. Stay away from that man. Most of you, when you date these men and their wives remain calm, you think those women are fools. Some of those women actually do not want any problem. And then they will just focus on God, for God to fight for them. And God always fights for them. But then there are other women that doesn't know what prayer is all about, will never ask God for any help. And they will go out of their own way to solve that problem. Now, what is the problem that we're talking about here? So many of these young girls, I'm not saying that if you're experiencing this, that it is charm that caused it. No, I know that some of these things are natural. It's a natural occurrence. But then, some of these diabolical women will use that. They will capitalize on that thing. That is, you will start having a heavy menstrual flow. When I mean a heavy menstrual flow, I mean it will be so heavy that the ordinary sanitary pads you are using can no longer contain it. And then you start using baby diaper. And this menstruation will not last the normal days, higher 7 days. It will not last. No, it will extend to 2 weeks or 2 weeks plus with a very heavy flow. So many girls are passing through this. I am telling you people, based on the reports that I've received so far, their periods will be so heavy that they cannot handle it anymore. When you go to hospital, the doctor will tell you that it's a hormonal imbalance. And then they will place you on injection to correct it. After some time, it will start all over again. Now, when you are experiencing this, please check your lifestyle very well. If you are dating a married man, stop it. Because the moment you stop it, that thing will stop. But if you insist on dating that man because he's the one training you in school, you are actually joking with your life. You are joking with your life. Because this menstrual blood that you are losing, if you are losing it in large quantity, you will start noticing that your skin color will start changing. Your skin color will start changing. If you go to hospital and check off your blood level, you will notice that your blood level has actually reduced, because this time around, I won't say that it's now a menstrual flow, but you are actually losing blood. That's what it is. So the only remedy to this thing is for you to stay away from that man. Stay away from that man. The moment you stay away from the man, not having anything to do with the man, you'll be okay. Yes, you'll be okay. But you will insist on still dating the man so that you'll be getting money from him. Then whatever that happens to you, you call for it. You actually call for it. There is no two ways about this thing. There is nothing like, let me go to this place so that they'll perform spiritual exercise for me and then I'll be free. No, you are actually hurting somebody. And the person has decided to retaliate. The person retaliated, and that is why you are suffering from what you are suffering. And so when it starts like this, check yourself very well. If you are actually dating a married man, forget that man. Forget the man, except the man is bent on marrying you. Because I know that in our culture, the man can marry 2 wives, 3 wives, even 10 wives. If the man wants to marry you, then that one is marriage. And then he will bring you home into his house as a wife, as long as he paid the bride price and does every necessary thing that he's supposed to do. But if you are outside dating him, meanwhile there is a woman inside who is crying, if the woman does this to you, you won't get any help until you leave that man. So I want our young girls to be very careful. There is no gain in dating all these men. The only thing you are gaining is the money, but you are actually joking with your life. You are actually sitting on a time bomb, which can explode anytime, and you'll be found wanting. Now I want to talk to men. Of course, this one is general. Everybody knows this one. It's no longer something new. It's no longer something new, but I'm still going to say it because some of us don't actually know and we do not believe it, but it happens. I want to talk to men who prefer eating outside. Yes, I love eating outside. I love it. You can go to restaurant from time to time to eat. There's no problem. But some of our men prefer having their breakfast, their lunch, their dinner at a particular place, at a particular restaurant. And some of the owners of these restaurants actually use this charm to get their customers. And once you are being charmed, my dear, even if the woman cooks rubbish, to you it tastes nice. And everything you owe, everything you have will be going to that woman without you knowing it. Even your life, even your time will be going to that woman without you knowing it. And all these things causes problems in your homes. And then you start seeing your wife as someone who doesn't know how to cook. You believe that the woman cooks better than your wife. But you are actually under the influence of a diabolical power, which you have eaten. And let me tell us, it is better that someone charms you on your body, that someone performs a diabolical power on your skin. It is better than the one that you have eaten. Whatever charm that you have eaten is so difficult for you to be set free from that charm. It's so difficult. If someone decides to inflict a charm on you, either by the air or to pin you down or to conjure evil upon you, it will be so easy for you to set yourself free from there. But the moment you eat that charm and it gets into your system, it's only the grace of God that can set you free from that charm. And some of these women, when they target that particular man that they want, and then they will start putting this nonsense into your food and you'll be eating it. Before you know it, you will have no value for your wife or for that girl that you want to marry. And then you will now start seeing this woman as everything in your life. And that you want to, not that you won't even want to bring the woman in as a wife, but you keep on frolicking with the woman, causing problem in your homes, causing problems for yourself. And all these charms that men do eat, it causes health issues on them. And this is one of the reasons why our men die so early, but nobody knows. You will think it's alcohol, you will think it's cigarette. No, it's as a result of what they have eaten. It will be difficult for a woman you marry to put something into your food for you, except when you start treating her bad. If you are treating her nice, she won't think of such things. But for all these women outside cooking for you, to please you, to win your heart, it's so easy for them to do that because they want to tie you to themselves. And then when you eat this on a daily basis, this is poison that you are eating. It can deteriorate your health. Before you know it, a man who is so fit, you start hearing that this man is having a kidney problem. This man is having a liver problem. But the man doesn't smoke. The man doesn't drink. So how come about that kidney problem and the liver problem? It's as a result of what you've been eating in the hands of all these diabolical women. So men, be careful. Extremely careful. I'm not saying you should not eat outside. Eat outside, but don't make a particular place your favorite. And don't allow them to know the exact time you are actually coming. Limit it, okay? Take them unawares. Now, there's another charm I want to talk to us about, which you all know. I'm very sure you all know about it. And this charm is pins and needles. Pins and needles. So many people do not believe that this charm is real, but it's actually real. It is actually real. I have experienced this charm 2 years ago in my office. I came to work in the morning. I just arrived office in the morning. I was still exchanging pleasantries with people. And then all of a sudden I noticed that it looks as if a pin from my skirt, but there was no pin. I don't use pin on my clothes. It looks as if that the pin was on my skirt and that the pin pierced my stomach, the side of my stomach. I shouted. And then I looked at myself, and of course I know I don't have any pin. I don't use pin. I overlooked it. The next thing again, that pin pierced my stomach again. And I shouted. So I had to put my hands into my skirt to check if actually there was a pin there. And the moment I put my hands into the skirt, the pin pierced my tongue. So when I shouted a third time, people decided to come close and ask me what the problem is. I told them. So some women decided to, pull off my my blouse, pull down my skirt to check and see if there is any pin there, but there was no pin. And then I overlooked everything because I didn't see it as anything. Before the day runs out, while still in the office, I started feeling feverish. I decided to go home on time. And then on getting home, I fell. I became seriously sick. And that tongue, where I experienced that puncture, started swelling up. It turned into black all of a sudden. It started swelling up with severe pains. The following day, I went to hospital. I thought it was a hospital case. The doctor checked and there was no opening anywhere, nothing, but I was actually feeling pain on that tongue. He gave me some injections and some drugs to take, but it didn't end, and the fever was so high. So I decided to call my nephew, who happened to be a prophet, and I told him what happened to me. He told me that they inflicted pain upon me, and that it's either I stop that pain or that pain will keep on. It will start transferring to every part of my body, because by the following day, I started feeling that pain on the index finger. And that finger started turning black. And so he asked me to get palm kernel oil, pray over it and apply it on my hands. And that was what I did. The third day, everything vanished. Everything vanished. And then when I went to bed and I had a dream, I saw where one man asked me to stretch out my hands. I stretched out my hands and the man started removing pins from my finger. Several pins, many of them. He started removing it from my finger. And after that dream, I didn't feel the pain anymore. Now, a lot of people are experiencing this. Pins and needles, but people say that it's what did they call it? A superstitious belief that it doesn't happen. It actually happens. And these pins and needles are not things that you can be treated in the hospital. If you are not aware of it and then you go to hospital to treat it, it gets worse. It gets worse because it's a diabolical power. It's not just an ordinary sickness. Now, there is a prevention for this. There is something you are supposed to do to prevent this. In case you are mingling with people you are not sure of spiritually, you don't know what they are capable of doing, I will advise you to make sure you have a needle or a pin on your clothes. A safety pin. You can buy a safety pin. It's very affordable. You can open up your clothes and put it inside your clothes here where nobody will see it. Or you can put it inside your pocket. Just let it come in contact with, let it be touching your body anyhow, or be touching your clothes. If you have that pin in your clothes, wherever you go, if someone fires that pin and needle, it will bounce back. Because as they fire it, that pin you have inside your clothes or the needle you have inside your clothes will actually, it will perform just like a repeller. The moment the charm comes, it will repel that charm. And then the charm will go back. It won't touch you. This is what you're supposed to do to prevent that pins and needle. That pins and needle kills. It kills, but people are not aware of it. People don't even know of it. Majority do not know of it, but it kills gradually. And before you know it, they say that you have infection, untreated infection. Meanwhile, it is actually the pins and needle that the enemy has fired on you. So these are the few charms that I want us to talk about tonight, because I know a lot of them, so many of them. I had them off here, but right now as I'm talking, they have all vanished from my head. Now, these ones that you have learned so far, the moment you start noticing them, the earlier, the better. The earlier, the better to solve the problem, to ask questions. It is always necessary to ask questions. Don't assume you know everything. When you are not sure of what is actually happening to you, please ask questions. And even if you ask and you didn't get the answer, ask other people. Try other people. Don't just resort to one place. Ask questions until you get the right answer so that you will solve this problem. To avoid, the reason why we teach all these things is to avoid untimely death. Yes, because I know that the main reason for all these charms is actually to remove people untimely. But if God is by your side, you may be alive, but you'll be experiencing everything. Okay, so you ask questions if you're experiencing everything and see how you're going to solve the problem. So if you have any question to ask, you can ask. Go ahead and bring up your questions. Let's treat them one after the other. I saw so many write-ups while I was talking, but I chose to overlook them until I'm done with what I'm teaching, because if I decide to attend to those write-ups, I will forget everything I have to teach us. So if there is any question you asked earlier while I was teaching, please repeat that question again. Let's treat it. Bring up your questions. Or if you are passing through any of these things that I've just talked now, or any other spiritual issues, please ask. Yes, Gabby, bitter cola is very necessary. I think I've given us a teaching about this bitter cola. Bitter cola is just like a repeller also. It drives away negative energies, drives away evil forces. If you have bitter cola with you, this is the teaching I gave us some days ago. If you have bitter cola with you, it will be difficult for any charm to get to you. It will be so difficult for any charm to get to you. That is why, if you have ever noticed, if you have attended an occasion, there are people you will see and it looks as if their mouth is swollen. Their mouth will be, one side of their mouth will be so big. They actually have bitter cola there, and the reason why they put it there is for prevention of these charms. Yes, it's either you chew it or you leave it there, or you put it inside your pocket. Whatever charm that anybody fires at you will not go into your body. Gabby, okay, alligator pepper is mainly cleansing. It's not actually to drive away that charm. Alligator pepper is for you to cleanse your body. Like maybe after attending that occasion where people are playing with charms or whatever, when you come back home, for you, because whenever you get back home from wherever you are coming from, you are actually coming back with so many things that you have attracted, both negative and positive. Now, the use of alligator pepper is for you to cleanse off everything, remove all the negative energies that you have attracted. That is the work of alligator pepper. So it's equally necessary that you have it. It's necessary that you have alligator pepper at hand. But the bitter cola is the one that will help you repel that charm whenever it comes. Gabby, you are welcome. Thank you so much. So keep your questions coming. If you have any question, bring it up. Let's treat it. I won't waste much time tonight. If you have any question, bring it up, please. Ask your questions now. Instead of coming to my inbox to ask me questions, ask your questions now. Some of the questions that people do write on my inbox, I don't attend to them. I don't attend to them because they are much. So I prefer you asking your questions here. Whatever question you have, you ask. We are all here to learn. The gift, the effect of bay leaf is just to clear the atmosphere for you. That's the effect of bay leaf, to clear the atmosphere for you. That's whenever you burn the bay leaf or whenever you put it into your bathing water. It's just for cleansing and to clear the atmosphere for you, so that you'll be able to attract positive things to yourself. Plums, or I don't know how to pronounce your name anyway, but you asked of salt. Now, salt is a neutralizer. It neutralizes charms. Most especially the charms that people will lay on the ground for you. A lot of people can plant charms on the ground and seal it up. Now, if you are living in an environment where you are suspecting that people has placed charms for you, all you need to do is to buy salt. Pray with that salt. Sprinkle the whole salt wherever you are in your environment. The moment that salt touches the ground, it neutralizes every charm there. That's the work of the salt. And it's equally a cleanser, to cleanse you, to make you appear spiritually clean. A lot of people use it for cleansing by adding it into your bathing water. It cleanses you spiritually and makes you appear clean. Okay, Gabby, thank you so much. Okay, Chris, you put 4 seeds of what? Your question is not complete. It's been said, okay. No, Chris, I will advise you instead of putting alligator pepper, into your pocket, I will advise you to put bitter cola. Alligator pepper can be in your pocket and you will still be afflicted with charm. The only thing is that you will not die. But that bitter cola will not allow that charm to come in the first place. It will repel it. Instead of putting alligator pepper, put bitter cola. Both of them go hand in hand, but bitter cola is more powerful in terms of repelling charms. Alligator pepper is to clear the way for you. That's what it is. You know, some of these things, I'm so sorry to say this, I'm not trying to downgrade anybody, but some of these teachings, so many people who teach this don't actually practice it. So many people learned it from others. So many people read about it. But when you receive that information direct from nature, direct from God, and then you practice it, you can actually tell how it works. A lot of people just they heard that alligator pepper is powerful, they heard that bitter cola is powerful, and then they would just teach it without practicing it to know if actually it is powerful. And that is why I believe in asking questions. When you are not sure of anything, ask questions. You must surely get the right answer. Wing time, can you yeah, because both of them perform different things. Yes, you can have it. You can still put pin inside your clothes and put the alligator pepper inside your mouth. There's nothing wrong there at all. There's nothing wrong. It's just like asking, can someone go out with Holy Bible and holy water? Yes, both of them works for the same reason. You can go out with your Holy Bible, you can go out with your holy water, all at the same time, because they are all for protection. So it doesn't matter whether you have both bitter cola and the safety pin together. It doesn't matter. So keep your questions coming. Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Keep your questions coming. Keep your questions coming. If you have any questions to ask, please, you ask. I won't waste too much time tonight. I won't waste too much time. Bring up your questions if you are confused anywhere. Positive vibes to protect your kids. How old are your kids? Maybe, definitely, they're, as long as they are still under your control, they can't do anything for themselves. It's your duty to protect them. Number one is prayer. I'm sure you know about that. You have to be praying for them every now and then. If you can remember, whenever they are about to go out, that is what I do for my children, even up till now that they are all grown. If they are about to go out, I will anoint them, their forehead, their palms, and their feet before they put on their shoes. I will anoint them and I will pray for them. And then what else I do is that from time to time, because I am a spiritualist, I will always call them to perform a spiritual exercise upon them for protection. That is what I do, because I know I am a spiritualist, but those who are after me know that they cannot get me, and so my children are their target. And so this is what I do for my children every now and then. Whenever I get any message that this is about to happen to them or that someone is after them because of me, I will call them and perform a spiritual exercise for them. And this spiritual exercise is something that someone who is powerful enough can do. It's not something that I can teach you because it is so tedious. It drains energy. Like today, I did it for them. Very early in the morning, I had to call all of them outside because I got a message concerning what is about to befall, not just them, but the entire grandchildren in my husband's family. And so I was asked to do that for them, to separate them from that family, to separate them, so that once that thing comes, it will not get to them. And I was shown exactly how I'm supposed to do it for them. And that was exactly what I did. I did that in the morning. And ever since that morning up till now, I'm still finding my strength. It drained all my energy. I slept throughout the day. Even up till now, I am still very weak. So it's not something I can tell you to do for yourself. But all I can tell you to do is to pray for your children. Anoint your children. Present them before God in prayer every now and then. They will always be protected. Always call on their guardian angels, because I know that we all have guardian angels. Let their guardian angels keep an eye on them always, from time to time, okay? Be doing this for them. Okay, Lady Gift, you asked what is the effect of bathing with salt. It's for cleansing, spiritual cleansing. When you bathe with salt, it cleanses you spiritually. Whenever we go out, I've said this before, as you come back, you think you are neat spiritually. No, you are not. Because you interacted with a lot of people. You came in contact with so many energies, both negative and positive. So when you come back, you need that cleansing. For someone like, if you are performing any spiritual exercise, you must perform a cleansing before you do that, to clear your path, to clear you spiritually, and then you become neat. There won't be any hindrance. So that is the work of salt. Ben, you are welcome, and you actually came late. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, Lady Gift, what spiritual exercise can one do for protection? I believe in prayer. I always say this. I believe in prayer, except that which God shows me. Like what I did for my children today for protection was actually shown to me by God, because he showed me what will happen in no distant time. And then he showed me what to do for them, to protect them. But I believe in prayer, because prayer has actually been protecting me and my family. So I can't really tell you the spiritual exercise you are supposed to do for protection, but I can tell you to pray. Okay, wind time, if the pin has already affected you, how to remove it? To remove that pin, wind time, is either you visit the native doctors, because they are actually the ones that knows how to remove it. And when they remove it, some of the people who have consulted them, you will see that pin live coming out from your body. You will see it with your two naked eyes. But if you do not want to visit the native doctors, it can only be removed through prayers. But that prayer has to be a very serious prayer. It has to be a very serious prayer. If possible, it is not a prayer that you can say on your own. You visit prayer warriors to pray for you. And then that pin will be removed, because it will vanish. When the prayer warriors pray, you are not supposed to see the pin. That pin will vanish, but it will no longer affect you. It is only the native doctors that can make you see the pin. As they are removing it from your body, they are going to apply a substance on your body. And as they are hitting that affected part, you will be seeing that pin coming out. I've seen it several times. So these are the only two ways I know that that pin can be removed. Island girl, your son is seeing a man every night and it scares him. Now, my first question is, where are you living? The house where you are living, is it your house or is it a rented apartment? Did you ask questions about the house if it's a rented apartment? Did you ask the questions to know how spiritually clean that house is? That is the questions that we ask when such things happen, when people see things. If the house is yours and if the house is spiritually clean, now what I want you to do is to guide your son. Because if your son is scared of seeing this man, it may be that your son has a spiritual gift to see. If you are not living in a haunted house, if that house is spiritually clean, it may be that your son has a spiritual gift. So you have to guide him. You have to guide your son very well. Pray with him. Bring him up before God in prayers every now and then. And make sure you use incense in that house Light incense every night. Take that incense round. Let the smoke from the incense touch every corners of that house. If it's a negative spirit, the incense will drive it away. But if it's a positive spirit, your son will still keep seeing the man. But all you need to do is to ask questions. It may be that your son has a spiritual gift to see. Yes, Chris, you are not the only one experiencing this. Okay? If you want to anoint your children, they will laugh at you. It's normal. It's normal. My children know me. They know what I can do. They know the powers I possess. But sometimes when I call them for spiritual exercises, they will be like kind of, that I should leave them. But it's my duty to protect them. And I will not leave them. So I will have to do that for them. Because I know that one day I will not be with them. One day they will leave my house. They will stay alone. So that I will be at peace wherever I am. Knowing fully well that they are actually being protected. So don't overlook their laughter. It's normal. When they laugh with them. That is what I do. When my kids call me weird, they always call me weird. When they call me that, I accept, I laugh. But I must perform that for them. Okay, Island, you've moved from one house to another, but it's as if it seems your son is still seeing the person, and you people have been moving. Then know that your son has a spiritual gift. So it is your duty now to channel him the right way. I want you to be praying with your son every day. Be praying with him, together with him. Make sure he prays, and you equally, you pray. Channel him to God. Lift him up before God whenever you pray. So that if it is a spiritual gift, let it expand very well. And then he will realize everything on time. It's better to realize it on time than realizing it late. Okay, is he having difficulty in speech? That is a normal occurrence if he's having difficulty in speaking. It's a normal occurrence, it's not a spiritual issue. But you will still help him out. You will still help him out. Okay, Chris. Okay, they are adults. It's normal. That is what it is. Just overlook them. One day they will value everything you are doing for them. They will value it. Okay? So keep your questions coming. Please. If you have any question to ask, bring it up. Let's treat it. Like I said, I'm not going to waste too much time tonight. I'm not going to waste too much time. I'm just trying to get myself. I told us what has been happening to me since today. I've been weak since morning. I know a lot of energy left me, and I'm trying to regain my strength. I actually thought about coming up live tonight, but I decided to just try and see if I can make it. And thank God I made it. But I'm not going to spend too much time. I need to at least to go and lie down. I've been lying down throughout today to get myself. So keep your questions coming. Yes, thank you, Chris. Thank you. That's what I will have to pass through. It's not easy, but I still thank God. Thank you so much. God bless you. My daughter has been feeling pain in her tummy for 2 years now, and the doctors cannot find what it is. Wow. For 2 years. For 2 years. And how old is your doctor? Your daughter, Positive Vibes. How old is she? Because if your daughter is still a little girl, she's under your watchful eyes. So it's not possible for anybody to give her anything to eat. Okay? What would it be? Since the doctors couldn't tell what it is, then I will advise you to lift your child up in prayers. Yes, and I want you to do this for your child. I want you to get bitter leaf. I've given us this teaching. I know it will be difficult for your child because she will not like it. She definitely will not like it. I want you to get bitter leaf, the raw bitter leaf, and then you wash it and pray with it. When you are praying, make sure you mention this, your child's sickness, as you are praying. After the prayer, please boil that bitter leaf, boil it, and allow it to cool. You can do this in the morning, boil it and allow it to cool. By nightfall, before your child goes to bed, get just half a tumbler, half a glass. Give it to your child to be drinking. Let your child be taking that bitter leaf morning and night. It will take care of that. Assuming that thing is a diabolical power that is working in her, it will take care of that. Otherwise, I will ask you to change hospital. And see if other doctors can detect what that problem is. Because I know when someone inflicted me with charm, it took 1 full year for several doctors to detect that what was happening to me was ulcer. I went test several times, but they couldn't see anything. Until I decided to go into prayers. I kept on praying, asking God to reveal the problem to me or to doctors. And then when I went for a test the last time, it came out as ulcer, which the doctors say that it was the drugs that I took for 1 full year that caused that ulcer. Okay, so I will advise you, it's either you change hospital or you do this. Get that bitter leaf, the raw bitter leaf. Wash it, pray with it, boil it. Let your child be taking it, half a glass in the morning, half a glass at night. You can boil just one full bottled water, Eva water. Just 1 full bottle. Let the child be taking it. After that bottled water, you leave it. Don't boil again until another month. Okay? The child can take it like for 1 week in a month, and then you leave it until another month. All right? Please, God bless you so much. Saint, how can someone know himself? Saint, it's only God that can reveal who you are. Because as we are now, nobody can tell whom he is or whom she is. It is only God that will tell you who you are. Or if God wants, he can tell who you are to somebody else, and then the person will tell you. That's the only way. Okay, Jet, seeing full moon in the dream is a very good dream, but then your dream is actually not complete. Because seeing the full moon has to come with a message. The moon, whenever you see a moon in the dream, there is always a message that comes with it. Maybe you didn't wait for the message to come up, or you didn't get that message very well. But seeing a full moon in the dream is very good. It's actually good. It means the stars are about to align, but it comes with a message. And so your dream is not complete. How can I stop from spirit of lust? Prayers. Peter, prayers. It is only prayer and self-control that can help you. Prayers and self-control. That is all you need to do. Okay? It's not going to be magic. It's a gradual process. You may achieve it this week, and the next week you fall again. When you fall, you rise. Don't remain there and conclude that you have destroyed everything. No. When you fall, you rise. It's a gradual process, and together with prayers. All right? Keep yourself busy with positive things always. I know that this loss will always creep in, but the moment it creeps in, try to remove it from your mind. And if you continue like this, as days goes by, it will start leaving you, because that loss is actually a spirit. It's a negative spirit that possesses people, and it will possess your mind that you cannot do anything but think about it. Now, the moment you start rejecting it through prayers, it is a spirit. It will know that you don't actually want it anymore, and it will leave you. So I encourage you, and I pray that the Holy Spirit will help you out. If it is your desire, let the Holy Spirit help you out to achieve that. Remedies for muscle pain, the back. For muscle pain, the back, abdomen pain for years. Wow, you are having muscle pain and abdomen, abdomen back pain for years. Have you been going to the hospital? Because these things you just mentioned can be treated in the hospital. All these things that you just mentioned, they can be treated in the hospital. So I will advise you to first of all go to hospital. Let them handle you, okay? And when they're handling you, please don't combine it with any roots. You know, roots are stronger than leaves. You can be taking English medicine and be taking leaves, the natural leaves at the same time. It will not interfere. But you don't take English medicines and take roots. They don't go hand in hand. The roots are just like antibiotics. It will always interfere and it will harm you. So I will advise you to go to hospital, please. Okay? Okay, positive vibes. You are welcome. Okay, keep your questions coming. Okay, Jet 7, thank you so much. Kemsy Charles, you said not in a dream, but in reality. I didn't see your question. I didn't see the first question you asked before writing this. I didn't see it. I have a few minutes left to conclude. So bring up your questions. A few minutes left to conclude, so that I can go and lie down, honestly. I need to lie down and get myself properly. A few minutes left. Let me take one or two questions before I leave. One or two questions before I leave. One or two questions before I leave. Rita, thank you so much for your gift. God bless you. Thank you so much. One or two gifts before I leave. Sorry. One or two questions before I leave. The moment is 9:20 p.m. I will leave. Yeah, Kemsey, I didn't see the question you asked. That was why I asked you to repeat the question. You said not in reality but in dream. But I didn't see the first question. So please repeat it. Where? You said answer me, ma. But I haven't seen that question. I haven't seen your question. I'm scrolling down, but I still can't see your question. Can you repeat the question, Kenzie? I still didn't see it. Okay, repeat the question, please. Chris, thank you so much. God bless you. God bless you. Kenzie, I'm still waiting for your question. Okay, Chris, you got an invitation. That means it's actually a network problem. That's what it is. It's a network problem. Thank you. Kenzie, I'm still waiting for your question. That will be the last question for me to answer tonight. I'm still waiting for your question, Kenzie. I'm actually not seeing anything. You said you sent it almost 4 times now. I'm not seeing anything at all. Nothing is actually popping up. Are you sending it into my inbox or are you writing it here? Because there is no question here. I can't see anything. It's about black pussycat on your window. Okay, you don't see it it's not in your dream, but in reality. Whenever you see such, Kenzie, I will advise you to try and get holy water. That's what you need. Seeing a black pussycat, it can be an ordinary pussycat, it can be witchcraft. Yes, it can be an ordinary pussycat, it can be witchcraft. The color doesn't matter. It can be white, it can be black. It doesn't matter the color. So get holy water. Whenever you see it, sprinkle holy water on it. If you do this once, twice, that pussycat will no longer come near your dwelling place. And not just sprinkling holy water on the pussycat. Please, you can still use that holy water around your house. Sprinkle the holy water around your house. If you have incense, take it, light it, take it around your house so that the smoke will touch everywhere. The reason why we use these two sacramentals or these two spiritual products is because their work is to drive away every witchcraft, every negative energy, every evil spirit, every demon. That is the work of holy water or an incense, to drive away all these forces, whether they are coming in reality or in dream. When you use them at morning and at night, it will drive them away, okay? So try and get either the holy water or the incense, or you can get both of them. You can be using them both. And I'm assuring you that that pussycat, whether it's normal or not, it will no longer come. All right? I hope you got the reply now. Okay, so I'm going to end the live stream tonight. But I want to thank everybody so far for joining us. Okay, Kenzie, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for liking this live stream. Thank you, my gifters. Thank you, those who share this live stream. Thank you so much. May God bless all of you abundantly in Jesus' name. Amen. I don't know if I will come up tomorrow night, but if I don't come up tomorrow night, that will be on Monday night. Yes, Ben, I will keep you in prayers. I will not forget that. Thank you so much. And I'm equally asking you people to be putting me in prayers, even if it just means just mentioning my name, because I'm passing through a lot of attacks. And it's just by the grace of God that I am scaling through, because I know that God is with me. Anybody who is doing whatever I'm doing will tell you that it's not so easy. It's never easy for us. You may not get a physical attack, but you will always get a spiritual attack. And the attacks are mainly targeting on us, to bring us down, to remove us entirely. That is the attack we are facing, because they know they cannot stop our progress. They cannot stop anything that concerns us. All they are trying to do is to remove us entirely. So please, even if it means just mentioning protection upon Uge, that's enough. If you say it, it's enough for me. Please be including me in my prayers. And may God bless you all as you are doing this. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you so much. Until tomorrow night or Monday night. But until then, good night and God bless you.